Sunday morning here in New Zealand, I have just got up to watch Fiji over Georgia. 38 points to 24, man. Fiji is a fun team to watch. Nothing about boring rugby in this game. It was very entertaining. The most disappointing thing about this game is the fact that we've had Fiji have 3 cancelled games. After seeing this game, how much would you have liked to see them play 3 more times? Quite a lot. Quite a lot. 38-24, man. I'll go through some of the key events of this one. The stats, like I said, I've just watched it delayed. It's Sunday morning here in New Zealand. It was on like 1 a.m., so I watched it first thing. Didn't know the result. Still don't know the results of the next 2 games. Ireland, Scotland is the next on my agenda. But yeah, as for Fiji, Georgia, good way to start my day. And it starts fast. Nandolo has a try within a minute. It's really wet. Piddling down rain. Georgians knock it on from the kickoff. And within a minute, Nandolo is over there on the left wing, scoring a try. They missed the conversion, but it's 5-0 early. If you're thinking the wet weather might help the Georgians in terms of getting that forward-orientated gameplay going, it didn't help with that knock-on from the kickoff. Bad start from Georgia. The worst, because you don't want to be chasing Fiji. Yeah, but great start from Fiji. The TMO, I think, did check that kind of last bounce pass to Nandolo, but it was all good. 4 minutes, there's a first scrum, and it's a penalty to Fiji. That's a big moment as well, because you're thinking that maybe sets things up for a long night for Georgia if they're going to struggle up front. But it looked like their tight head, Gigashvili, he was injured, man. He had a leg injury pretty early on, and he wasn't at 100%. They did take him off after about 10 minutes. But he probably should have just gone off. Obviously didn't want to go off because this is a game that Georgia would have been targeting. 5 minutes, Fiji went close with a little kick through. The Georgians had to take it into touch on their own kind of 5-meter line. So under all kinds of pressure. And from the line out, Fiji, after a couple of faces, that man, Johnny Dyer, he goes over. I think it was his first game from memory. And suddenly it's 12-0. It's 12-0 after like 6 minutes, and it's looking like it's going to be a horrendously long day for Georgia and Fiji. You can feel that these guys have been stuck in isolation for weeks and weeks and weeks and just wanted to get out there and play some rugby, and yeah, it's showing. 10 minutes, I wrote a note that Georgia kind of stopped the rot because at least they went down Fiji's end. They managed to kick a penalty, so they get some points on the board. They're stopping that flow of points, so it's 12-3, and at that point Gigashvili does go off the prop, so they bring on the replacement, which was sensible. 15 minutes, Fiji with a 5-meter line out. It was a chance, but the line out was too big. Went straight over the entire line out. The Georgians managed to get the ball and exit, but it didn't last because within 2 minutes, Tuisova was over on the right wing. To be honest, at that point, like Georgia were really struggling with the kicks through. Maybe it was the wet weather. Maybe it was the fact that this game, maybe Georgia actually had a bit of pressure on them to win it. Like in every other game up until now, they've been expected to lose to these Tier 1 teams. But against Fiji, who's been cooped up in isolation for all this time, maybe there was a bit of added pressure. And the guys looked confused early. They didn't know what to do with these kicks through. They didn't look confident. And, I mean, Tuisova, goodness me, he's just too big, isn't he? But I think that for that one, he pretty much went over untouched. But, yeah, it was 19 points to 3 and looking all at 6s and 7s, the Georgians. But, to their credit, like, whilst they were really bad in the first 20 minutes and Fiji were all over them, credit to the Fijians, the second half of the first half, the Georgians were way better. They spent a lot of time camped down in Fiji's half. They got a try through the replacement prop, Milikadze. It was a 5-meter line out. They mauled it. They went through some phases and he went over. So it's 10 points to 19 and it's not looking quite so bad. They had a 5-meter scrum after Vola had, like, the guy I talk about him being hot and cold. He'll do some magic and then he just threw some random ball seemingly to nobody, puts his team under all kind of pressure. But Fiji were able to turn them over. Georgia's had a big period of play. They went like 16 phases right before half time. but they conceded a penalty. So it goes in halftime at 19 points to 10. The Georgians did have the better of the latter period in that first half, after being shell-shocked early by the way the Fijians just scored 3 quick tries. Second half, it goes back more towards Fiji's way. Botia, he gets TMO'd for a potential foul play on Labjanidze, the scrum half for Georgia. They're concerned maybe it's a leading forearm, but I'm glad they didn't card that one because it was really nothing. He was just trying to push him away. There was absolutely nothing, so I'm kind of glad they didn't do anything for that one. Play on. 45 minutes. Fiji had a big scrum. They won a penalty. They go again. And on 49 minutes, they wanted to see if... was it Ravi? Went over for a try. They were checking. It was an on-field no try for Fiji, and they ruled that the grounding was kind of not in control, so... unlucky for Fiji, but probably correct decision. 50 minutes. Georgia managed to win a scrum penalty, so they get an easy exit. That's a 5-meter scrum on their own line, so good play from those guys. But on 54 minutes, or 53, I wrote a note just saying, is that game over? Because Kunavula went over for a try, maybe one of the tries of the game. Is it? Is it the try of the game? There's a few good tries in this game. Tui Silva, that's what I'm talking about, him being too big. Got that burned into my memory. Him just running down that right wing. And he beats about 3 tackles, offloads in the last one, and Kunavula just has to fall over, basically, over the line. He is being tackled. He manages to force it pretty well. So, yeah, at that point, it's 26-10, and it's all Fiji. In that second half, it's just all been Fiji. It's been a real turnaround. 58 minutes, Nandolo. It's another thing of beauty try. It's Vola Vola with the kick through. Nandolo slides in the wet grass. He regathers the ball, slides over. Another thing of beauty try. This game, honestly, man, was proper entertainment. It's 31-10. And then Nandolo, a couple of minutes later, gets his hat trick. The Georgians are looking deflated at this point. Totally. And it's all from a Georgian poor clearance. His line-out move. They get it to Nandolo. He busts straight through 2 tacklers. Yeah, man. It's like, he's a big unit. Like, you saw him standing next to some of the other guys, some of the Georgian guys, and he just looks like a man playing amongst boys at times. He's just a huge human. He's proper size. But 38-10 after like 62 minutes. But 62 minutes, that's where the scoring is done for Fiji. No more points. And Georgia have just conceded 3 quick-fire tries. So you're thinking, at this rate, Georgia are going to concede more points against Fiji than they did against England. But I guess kind of like the first half, credit to the Georgians for coming back in the latter periods of the game. Maybe this is the Fijian guys lacking a bit of match fitness all that time in the hotel rooms. Maybe it's just the Georgians really coming together, but like, you're 38 points to 10 down. That's a pretty bad look in a game where you were supposed to be competitive. 67 minutes, Saganidze gets a try. He runs through Lomani, and he did well to force it with like 3 guys trying to tackle him. It's 38 points to 17, a really good try. Georgia throwing it around, to be fair, like they were chasing the game. They had to throw it around. The 23, Ninashvili, he's the guy who had the poor clearance for Nandolo's hat-trick try. But he's only like 18 or 19. He looks dangerous. He looks like a man who wants to play. A few big kicks. 78 minutes, 12-plus phases. The Georgians are a meter out, and Saganidze goes over for another one. And it's 38 points to 24. Nandolo looked to have got a late one at the end for his 4th try, but they ruled it off for a late tackle. But, yeah, Georgia scored 2 tries in that kind of final 15 minutes to at least bring the scoreboard back to a respectable number. And whilst I could tell in the post-match interview, the Georgian guys are absolutely gutted. There's no shame in losing to Fiji, and it's closer than that Rugby World Cup score. What was that, like 45-10 or something? So they'll be disappointed that they conceded so many points at the start of each half. 1 minute, 5 minutes, you know what I mean? Not a good look. And then that quick fire period where they just conceded bang, bang, bang. That's really costly for Georgia, but they did come together and at least get the scoreboard a bit closer, but they'll still be disappointed. Possession 50-50, territory 50-50. Run meters, Fiji edged at 191 to 163. Defenders beaten was actually pretty close, 21-18 in Fiji's favour. Clean breaks 5-3 in Fiji's favour. Both sides tackling in the 80%. I mean, I guess it's a wet game, so there wasn't all that much chance to just be constantly running it, but yeah. Jalagonia had 47 run meters and 8 defenders beaten. Georgian Lucy, very good play from him. Nandolo, 41 run meters, 3 clean breaks, 4 defenders beaten. He had a hell of a game on his return. He was in tears at the end, man. Like, it means so much to him, which was great. Tui Silva, 55 run meters, 5 defenders beaten. Yeah. Honestly, great way to start my Sunday. It's just sad we didn't get to see more of Fiji. And Georgia, honestly, over the course of this tournament, I think have looked all right. I think today was probably a combination of the Fijian guys doing a little bit of what Argentina did to the All Blacks after being locked down, not playing rugby for so long. They just wanted to unleash, and we saw some of that, and these guys have got the players to do that. But also a little bit, Georgia looked a bit panicked at times. Like they didn't, maybe they prefer being more of an underdog. That seems to be a more natural state for them. Whereas this game where they were, like, I guess more of a chance to win it, they looked a bit more unsettled. But they did settle down as each half went on. But by that point, it was maybe a bit too late. But anyway, I'm still not complaining, man. It was a hell of a game. Tragic Fiji didn't get more games. Georgia, over this tournament, I think can certainly hold their heads high. They have contributed well. And remember, they weren't even supposed to be here. So I think they've taken the chance pretty well. Scored some points and looked generally pretty good throughout the tournament. But yeah, they'll certainly gain from the experience as well. But yeah. What did you guys reckon about this one? Key moments, favourite plays of the game. Do you think Fiji should have scored some more? Do you think if Georgia had managed to lock things down a bit earlier, this game actually could have been a bit closer? But yeah, you guys let me know your thoughts. I am off to watch Ireland and Scotland. Alright guys, talk to you again soon. See you later.